Information in martial arts, especially for a young kid. All this kung fu, and he screams like a cat. But then Bruce Lee, I saw this reel, and my parents first thought that it was some kind of phase. So a lot of people thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy. What are you doing, traveling alone? That if you don't experience that, you're going to be missing something. How can you use this on a real confrontation? It's not so much like fighting, but...
Hi, my name is Mike Soto. I'm a martial arts coach, combatives consultant with over 40 years of researching, learning, and teaching martial arts. I want to invite you to my new video course, Fundamental Skills for Martial Arts and Fighting. The contents of this video series is based on my extensive research in Muay Thai, Western boxing, and Chinese and Filipino martial arts. In this course, you will learn some essential skills that will create a more connected and relaxed body structure that will allow you to deliver more power in your strikes. These body skills will create a more efficient way to use any offensive or defensive technique. You will also learn some essential footwork to guarantee the delivery of your techniques. These skills can be applied to enhance any martial arts practice and can greatly benefit anyone from beginners to advanced practitioners, regardless of style. Don't miss this opportunity to bring your martial arts skills to the next level.
My name is Mike Soto. I'm a martial arts instructor, a coach, a consultant, and I've been involved in martial arts for over 40 years. I started when I was very young, and this was back in the 70s. My first exposure to martial arts was in the island of Puerto Rico when the Hong Kong movies started to become popular in the U.S. They used to bring them every week to the theaters. And for the first time, my father took me to see a martial arts movie. It was a double feature, because at that time they would have double features. And I remember sitting in the theater and watching these incredible fancy moves, all this kung fu choreography. And because at that time, you think that, wow, that's how you fight, But it was so mind blowing to me. And I remember sitting in the theater and thinking, that's what I'm going to do the rest of my life. I already knew it was like a light bulb moment. And from that moment on, that was it. It was a passion that never went away. And my parents first thought that it was some kind of phase. So it's a kid phase, he'll be done with it after a while. But, it took almost 30 years of the phase not going away when they were like, maybe this is serious, right? So that became my journey. At that time in Puerto Rico, there wasn't a lot of information in martial arts, especially for a young kid. I was about 5, 6 years old. But I wanted to devour any information that I would find on martial arts. And in those times, the popular martial arts were karate, judo. The Chinese systems over there were very non-existent. And later on, when I was exposed to Bruce Lee, now that was another amazing epiphany for me, because my parents saw the movie first. I wasn't with them, and they came home telling me, "Oh, we just saw this movie. This man that could do excellent martial arts, and he screams like a cat." And I was like, "Oh, I have to see that," So finally, I was able to go see it, and that was another big, like, for millions of people, Bruce Lee has been an inspiration to this day. So I was one of them, but from back in the day in the 70s, right? That was a huge stepping stone for me also, because I saw a different aspect of martial arts training. Until then, I saw the movies that were more traditional, Hong Kong period pieces where, they were doing a lot of fantastical moves and people are flying in the air and things like that. But then Bruce Lee, I saw this realism, how there was a different type of doing the martial arts. So I tried to find as much information as I could, although it was very little. Because it was little information, as a young kid that doesn't know any better, the movies became my reference point. They were my teachers, these movies with these fantastical moves, and they're doing all these, these moves that have to do with, really fancy moves with animal things. And I thought this is kung fu, and it is, because of course the movies are based on real kung fu, but they're theatrical. But as a kid, you don't know anything. So I'm thinking that, man, okay, if I can find information or teachers here, I'm going to do that. And what happens is throughout the years, I would mimic these movies over and over. I mean, I was in the theater all the time, watching these movies repeatedly, and they would bring new ones every weekend. So I was like, obsessed. But what happened was that ignorance is bliss, because by the time in the future, when I was past teenager years, when I started then mingling and meeting with other martial artists, by the time I was in high school, even though I didn't have a lot of formal training, and they did, my ability to move and absorb martial arts and material was almost like nothing to me, because I had a background of imitating what was in the movies. And that stuff is not easy, because it's choreographed, and some of it obviously is not realistic, but it allowed my movements. I had a really good sense of how my body moves and attributes, speed, how to deliver some power moves. And so by the time I started really kind of formally learning some martial arts, it wasn't that hard for me to then speed up the progress, because I had that background of doing things that I thought were real already, but they weren't. But it was harder than the real training. So it worked for me, right? It ended up working for me, so I'm okay with that. So as the years went by, we moved from Puerto Rico to the United States, and everywhere that we went, again, I was always trying to find out, people that did martial arts, people that I could exchange information with. And finally, we ended up settling in Oklahoma, the state of Oklahoma. And there, at that time, it was a very developing state. It was in the 80s. And again, I started then meeting a lot of high school friends, people that did Okinawan styles, Chinese styles, and I was exposed to many different martial arts friends. And we were able to exchange information, and those were fun times. We would go to the park and make our own martial arts movies. We would bring all our weapons and go to the park and make movies and try to choreograph scenes. And of course, we all love Bruce Lee, and we couldn't wait. The Black Belt Theater on cable TV then, became a big thing in the Saturday mornings. Everybody wanted to be on cable TV and watch a Channel 11, and all these kung fu movies would be coming up, and those were fun times. The magazine industry started then publishing a lot of martial arts, Black Belt magazine, Inside Kung Fu. There was all Fighting Stars. So we were just buying all these things and reading them and trying to find out everything we could. And they were learning about other teachers around the U.S. Then we knew that in Chinatowns and all these different martial arts. It was amazing. Then the ninja craze came. It was all these different phases.
Okay, guys, don't forget to subscribe, to share the video with people that you think might benefit from the information. Make sure and like and comment. Any questions that you may have, feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them. Hi, my name is Mike Soto. I'm a martial arts coach, combatives consultant with over 40 years of researching, learning, and teaching martial arts. I want to invite you to my new video course, Fundamental Skills for Martial Arts and Fighting. The contents of this video series is based on my extensive research in Muay Thai, Western boxing, and Chinese and Filipino martial arts. In this course, you will learn some essential skills that will create a more connected and relaxed body structure that will allow you to deliver more power in your strikes. These body skills will create a more efficient way to use any offensive or defensive technique. You will also learn some essential footwork to guarantee the delivery of your techniques. These skills can be applied to enhance any martial arts practice and can greatly benefit anyone from beginners to advanced practitioners, regardless of style. Don't miss this opportunity to bring your martial arts skills to the next level.
But through all that, I became very interested, and my particular interest was steering towards the combatives, because I appreciated the art of the martial arts, and I still do. I still, on my own practices, as an art to challenge my body for movements and things like that. But my emphasis became, well, how can you use this on a real confrontation? It's not so much like fighting, but in a violent environment where you're being attacked with people that don't care, and they have explosive violence raining upon you. Like, that's a whole different psychological state that is not included in per se traditional martial arts training. So I started becoming very interested in that aspect. So of course, from Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do, they call it scientific street fighting. There was all these things that I was investigating at the time. Then I became interested in arts of different parts of the world. So because Danny Inosanto started introducing a lot of martial arts in the United States, I mean, he's an iconic figure in the Filipino martial arts and Southeast Asian arts. He exposed people to, way from the beginning to Thai boxing before people didn't really know what Thai boxing was. Although there were other Thai boxings like Tong Tritara and the North Hollywood Thai Boxing Club. These things started to pop up. Inosanto was promoting Surachai Surasut. So, people were getting exposed to different arts that weren't just the normal arts that people, related martial arts with. Then the other Southeast Asian styles, like the Filipino martial arts, became now into light. And the Silat systems. So, there was a lot of martial arts flux happening there towards the end of the 80s. I was exposed to all of that, and I started to explore those martial arts, became interested. But again, I steered towards the teachers that were using this in a combative sense, because there's a lot of good instruction out there, but some of it's recreational. And some of them self-admittedly will say it's recreational. I wasn't so interested in that. I wanted to see, well, how this is really going to work, in a really dramatic situation. So that led me to further research and start traveling. So I started traveling to Asia because I wanted a sense of what it's like in the land of the art, because you can learn good instruction from any instructor anywhere in the world, but there's something about going to the point of origin and learning the culture, their mentality, the way that they developed these arts and why, that if you don't experience that, you're going to be missing something. It is not the same culturally. So that led me to traveling. When I was young, I started in the States, first taking Greyhound buses. I would, collect all my pennies and break the piggy bank and get ready to pick a master that was somewhere in the States that I can take a bus and visit. And I did. So a lot of people thought I was crazy. My parents thought I was crazy. What are you doing? Traveling alone, taking 32-hour ride buses, Greyhound bus, across the nation to spend like a week to try to pick somebody's brain or get an experience with them, come back home and train it back to Oklahoma, share it with my friends. So I did that for another couple of years because there wasn't a lot of instruction in Oklahoma, at that time. Now it's got so many great instructors. I'm proud of my state and the martial artists that we have in that state. We have a lot of good people there, and I've been very fortunate to be friends with them and have trained alongside them and had partnerships with them. So, but at that time, because there wasn't much, at some point I decided it's time to go to Asia.
How old did you go to Asia?
The first time I came to Asia, I was in my mid-20s. And I came to Bangkok.